You mentioned the SRBC's 2016 report. Has there been a response from the DRBC to that?
I'm so glad you asked that question. They do not mention it. Can you imagine that? They wrote a justification for a fracking ban, and they did not mention, not one iota, not one word, about a report in their hands when they're wearing their SRBC hat about continuous water quality over a decade that has proved no impact. They did not mention it. That tells you everything you need to know.
And to get to the root of actually what this bill does, is it not true that those gas rights, those from the time of William Penn, they've successively been sold off or transferred by inheritance, that sort of thing. So those gas and minerals that are below the surface, they actually belong to the people who own those mineral rights.
Correct.
The Commonwealth has given up rights to the gas. So to make a claim that somehow the Commonwealth owns that is a falsehood. Is that correct?
I agree with you 100%. And I would note, I have some distant relatives. I'm not close with them, but I know them. And they were among the parties that sold tens of thousands of acres to the state for state game lands and things of that sort, and they retained the mineral rights. Now,
thank you.
That's the point.
Pennsylvania's Article 1, Section 1 guarantees the right to acquire and enjoy property. Federal and the other states' constitutions, I believe, in the surrounding or that are part of the commission, have similar rights. I'm just curious, are you considering any kind of a class action lawsuit to possibly have the DRBC disbanded for violating those constitutional rights?
Sir, I'm not here to talk about any particular litigation or any clients I'm representing at this time, although I would suggest to your idea sounds like a wonderful idea.
I think
people
there's an excellent
people
case
should be
for it.
people should be looking into that. They should.
Thank you.
Representative Isaacson?
You had mentioned earlier about your people being folks who are like with Trout Unlimited, that kind of thing. They care about the quality of the water, and I think my landowners, I know my landowners do, and I think Representative Fritz's landowners as well care very much about that. In our areas, the water is good. It is clear. We try our best to maintain it that way. It's more when you get down into the lower Delaware River where you start seeing more of those pollutants actually getting into the system. And I think when most of the complaints about us are coming from places where there is a huge problem with pollution versus those of us who have people who are drilling responsibly and maintaining the environment and have clean streams, people can canoe, kayak. I think it's very disingenuous, and I thank you for your testimony.
You're welcome. And I live alongside the Delaware River in Narrowsburg, right on the border. I look into Pennsylvania, and there's a train track that comes up. There's a train track in front of my house. And through the years, I've been, I was born in 1960. I've lived there all my life, except for the time I was in the service. And recently, we just had a derailment up by Hancock. And so the potential for pollution, if you will, to the river basin is so much more exacerbated by that type of activity than apparently what natural gas development would ever offer to the basin with knowledge of what we've learned in the Susquehanna River Basin and how their quality of water has actually improved with extensive natural gas exploration.